Hello, everybody. Welcome to Double Take. I am Rick, and this is Lori.
There you go. Thank you. You guys know that, or you wouldn't be watching
That's
anyway. Right. So we're brought to you by the Stream Grace Network and Oneness Ministries, which is oneness-ministries.org. Yeah. Please go there, find out all of what we do and all of our videos and podcasts.
Yes.
And if you'd like to support us, you could do it from the website as well.
Yes.
We're on Facebook and Instagram and X and YouTube and Rumble and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts and just everywhere. And we get a lot of interactions from you guys. We really enjoy that. And I will respond.
Yep. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Also, what about the free...
Oh, yeah. Subscribe to our free study guides.
Yeah.
You can just shoot me an email at lfry@oneness-ministries.org. Now, there won't be one for last week and this week because we have part 2 of our 3-minute interviews from the Unshakeable Conference that we went to earlier this month. So we get connecting with people who are all over the map, but share a common goal, which is a deeper understanding of our faith. Or actually, in one case, it was just a desire to learn about what it's all about.
Yes.
You'll have to stay tuned for the final interview for that one.
And I want to apologize in advance that the final few, I think there's 2.
I think there's 3 or 4.
There's 3 interviews that somebody must have bumped the camera because we lost the audio on those.
No, we lost the video.
Well, I mean the video. Mm-hmm. So those will be audio only. Yeah.
We're blaming it on somebody bumping into it.
Because it sure wasn't my fault.
No, who was sitting near the camera? That was you. So when the picture goes away, it's not done. There's still some more.
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube and you will lose a video at the end of the second part.
Yeah.
Which is this part.
If you're watching the videos as much as just instead of just listening to them, because some platforms you can watch them. So, So anyway, we hope you enjoy part 2.
We enjoy bringing it to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
See you in a bit.
Tell us your name.
All right, my name is Darion Dover.
Nice to meet you. And you said you were here at the conference with a group?
Yes, Bridgeway group. I don't know y'all.
The church?
Church, yeah.
Oh, I used to go there a long time ago.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I've been going there for almost a year now. So.
Yeah, it's a very unique place,
yes.
or it was. There was a lot of cool things about it.
It still is.
What do you like about it?
Honestly, how they speak the word in the Bible, how they break it down so you can understand it, and also the love, the energy from it. It sounds like, it feels like a lot of people around there actually really care and want to listen to your story and wants to help you. So
are they still very artsy?
Yes.
Yes, I liked that about it.
Yes.
What caused you to go there?
So long story. I'm gonna try to make it.
We got till 3:30.
Okay. So I ended up meeting someone that was special in my heart. I was going through a little something, and she was going through something. And she started helping me with getting closer to God. It went step by step. Like I started watching the Chosen TV show.
Oh yay! We love the Chosen.
It broke it down how the disciples and Jesus. I love how smooth Jesus was. And all that. So I was like, oh whoa! And she got me out my. Like I was telling you earlier, I had a speech impediment. She got me out that, so we started praying together, but her godparents, they go to the church, Bridgeway, and they asked if she could, invite me, and I went, and the first day I went, I just...
Fell in love?
I fell straight in love, and I was like, you know what? And I started, challenging myself, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to go to church every time, I can, but I ended up getting hurt at this job I was working in. Kind of rough start, in my life. Started going through a little something, but also the girl that helped me, she was going through her little something, and she had to go to California to do her, to continue her spiritual journey to help herself. And she asked me, you need to start getting close to God for yourself, not just for Because at first I was getting close to God just for her and
Sure.
all that. So
Been
Guys,
there.
I was going to say, guys do that, don't they?
yeah. So and now I start getting closer to God myself. I start
Yes.
making these sacrifices. Changing my whole playlist. It's nothing but Christian music. Let's see, sacrificing scary movies. Sacrifice. I was a big anime guy, so I had to sacrifice that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dear. That's a lot of stuff.
Start doing daily quiet times every morning. I'm in and put myself in Bible study. Going to church every Sunday.
Do you like it?
I love it. I'm
Yeah.
becoming a young disciple, so learning so much in the
Nice.
Bible and
There's a lot.
yeah. So
There's a
reading, I was big on reading comic books, but reading anything else, it was like So
Well, it's a good way to get some sleep.
yes, yes. So and now I'm just staying focused in this Christian life and understanding so much how Jesus wanted us to get closer to God. How the Old Testament was breaking it down, but how they break it down for the New Testament so you can understand, so much. And
There's so much.
so much.
You will
I'm
never
just like,
stop
whoa,
learning.
Yeah.
the disciples from the Old Testament, the disciples from, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Jesus, the New Testament. I was just like, whoa, they all just like, you know what I mean? They all just like us, sinful people.
That's
so
right.
They broke it down to the point that I started understanding, one of my favorites, Jonah the Whale.
Yes, Yeah.
King David, the Abraham and Sarah story. I loved it. Even Genesis, I love how they broke down. Well, when you got to read the Bible, multiple times to really understand it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I'm on right now.
Yeah.
My journey is just reading it to break it down so I can understand it to the point. And what I'm learning is that you have to not think of yourself. Think like yourself, you got to think like God, you know what I mean? Just like Jesus, you know what I mean? To help, and that's what I'm learning so much.
Well, here's a bit of good news. As you go into this journey, God changes your mind and He gives you thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
It's like how my anger was, I'm humbling myself more. The way that I'm
becomes-
understanding that material things doesn't matter in life.
Right.
It's what's in the heart
Yeah.
and memories, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
And it becomes more natural over time.
Yes. And like earlier, I don't know if y'all was listening to
Nah, we were
Brent
out,
was
we
talking
were
about.
out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brent was talking about. I understood so much because a lot of people in this, they say they're Christians. They have a judgmental mindset,
Yeah.
and I'm learning to.
Oh, I had no idea about that.
Yeah. So a lot of people,
I used
a
to
lot
be
of
that.
Christians say you can't do this, you can't do that. And
Yes.
true. I do understand that, but what I'm learning the most is that you can't force anyone. That's what Jesus, is letting us know. He didn't force anyone.
That's
Right.
right.
There weren't a whole lot of rules with Jesus.
Yes. So and that's what I'm learning the most right now is about that. I can't judge anyone that don't do that,
Yes.
but it's the way how you give and the want to obey the love of God and Jesus. You know what I mean?
And
that's
the
what
key, what you just said, is that you want to.
I want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
want
that's
to.
what He puts in you is
And that's
the want
what.
to.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's great.
When I even talk to people and tell them about Christ, they like, oh, I don't know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Take your time.
Yes. Yes.
And one of my favorite verses is Romans 8:1. There is therefore no more condemnation. We are free from condemnation. Zero.
My favorite right now is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17.
Yeah.
For anyone
Oh, yeah.
is in Christ, we are the new
creation.
We are the new creation.
That's
the old
it.
is gone. The new,
The old is
and the new is-
dead. It's dead.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning the most. Like, I'm the new creation. So
Yes,
I got
you
to
are.
stand firm in this foundation. So to speak, to become, what I can become.
There you go,
and that's
brother.
what I'm trying to become, a disciple. So
You are. You are.
Thank
one.
you. Thank you for
Thank
stopping.
you.
You
See, you
have-
said you didn't have anything to talk about.
but you got to see the stress ball. If this is somebody had, they would have been, oh.
But you have blessed us today.
Yeah. Thank
Well,
you.
thank y'all for challenging me to do something like
Yes.
this.
Sure.
Right.
Thanks for doing it.
We have with us Scotland.
Scotland.
I love the name.
That's a great
Thank you.
name.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I've only
Fan of
heard
it.
it once before, and it was for a girl. So
I've never met anyone else with the same name.
really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where are you from, Scotland?
Oklahoma City.
Not Scotland.
Not
No,
Scotland.
No,
I'm not from
Oklahoma
Scotland.
City.
Never
I know
even
it.
been there, unfortunately.
Is it part of your heritage, or is just your parents? Is it
My grandpa was from there.
nice?
Scottish, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'd love to
nice.
go there someday, but
She's Italian
Yes.
and I'm Irish.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Actually, we're all Americans here.
American.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're within the gap.
I am.
Yeah, tell us about that. What, and like I said a few minutes ago before we started, was Chad Christensen is the founder. Is that right?
And we did
Yes.
Lydia
And-
earlier this morning.
Yes, and Lydia, and
Yeah.
she.
Is it Lydia? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Lydia.
Yep.
So, tell us what you do within the Gap. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so In the Gap is a ministry whose main focus and mission is to reach the next generation, reaching kids.
Yep.
Most people who are going to get saved before they're even like 13 or 14 years old. And so we really have a big focus on reaching kids while they're young, while they are their hearts are soft and open
Yes.
to receiving Jesus. And so the two main ways that we do that are through partnering with churches. We have an initiative called Mission 414, where we partner with churches to train and equip them to host after-school Bible clubs. Most people don't know that that's even legal.
Yeah.
You think, oh, Bible's not allowed
Yeah.
in the school. But as soon as the bell rings and classes are let out,
Yeah.
we can go in. And so volunteers from churches can go into a public school, completely legal,
Yeah.
and share the gospel with the kids, show them the love of Jesus, give them plenty of snacks, play games with them, have a good time.
That
Yes.
gets them in there.
Yeah. And so obviously like with parent permission and all that.
Sure.
But really making sure that we are doing everything we can to show the love of Jesus to these kids.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main ones. And that one is so important because 80% of kids grow up not going to church. And so they're not gonna get this. They're not gonna know that Jesus loves them, that Jesus cares about them. But they are in public schools. 95% of kids go to a public school. And so the door is open in the state of Oklahoma
Yeah.
for the church to do what Jesus tells us to do, to reach the little ones, to invite the children to come and meet him.
Yeah.
So that's really one of our main ones. And then the other one is our summer program. It's called Operation Impact. And that's where young people ages 14 and up come to the In the Gap facility and receive training to learn how to work with kids, how to share the gospel with them. And then they actually go out into parks, apartment complexes, places where kids are hanging out during the summer, where they live,
Yeah.
and host Bible clubs at these places where the kids are at.
How's that received at an apartment complex where, a lot of poverty and how's that received?
Well, not all of them.
Well, not all
Yeah.
of them, yeah.
I mean, do you have to be invited in by somebody that lives there? Or do you have to go through the management, or can you just do it?
We go through the management. We give them a call, stop by for a visit, talk
Yeah.
to them, just be
Yeah.
like, hey, is this something you'd be interested in having? And I mean, for the most part, it is very, very widely, very well accepted.
Yeah.
Good.
Because people, it's not a secret. People know that when children have adults investing in them,
Yes.
the kids are going to do well. The communities are going to get better.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's a really good opportunity for young people, for teenagers to get equipped to learn how to share the gospel, how to share their faith.
Yeah.
And the training that is provided is so good, so solid. We've seen people who, young people who are kind of shaky in their faith. They're not super sure, but their friend was coming or their parents told them they should come, and God just does a work in their heart during those couple of weeks that just really changes their life, gets them really grounded in the truth.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they are able to immediately learn use what they're learning to make an eternal impact. Last summer, over 1,000 kids were reached with the gospel. 30 something, I think 38 salvations over the 3 weeks. So it's Yeah, it's really good.
That's a good track
such a good
record.
impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been growing year after year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody's listening,
Yes.
you should sign up quick because it's going to start filling up quick.
I think you just insulted us by saying if anybody's
So,
listening.
if any young people are listening, is what I mean.
All
Any
of you
young
people who are listening,
And if you have kids,
yes, sign up.
I'm teasing you.
Teach your
of course.
kids, have your kids sign up,
Yeah.
have your friends sign up,
So-
have your siblings sign
So
up.
tell them how.
Yeah, so you go to inthegap.org, and there will be a link there on the homepage that will take you to a page where you can learn more and fill out an application right from there.
Nice.
How did you get involved?
I first got involved through Operation Impact, the summer program. My family's known about the ministry for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I grew up really close to it, and so I just
was a
signed up for the summer program several years back, and have continued to do the summer
Yeah.
program, and happy to be on staff there now too. So
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Have you gone? Have you been through college?
Yeah,
Been
yes. I actually went to school here where we're at right now at Oklahoma Christian.
Oh, okay.
Graduated 2 years ago.
Yeah. And then went on staff at Impact.
Yes,
Wow, that's
In the
pretty.
Gap.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's in the Gap, not Impact.
Oh well.
that's okay.
That's all right, yeah.
You can call it whatever you want.
Thanks.
You can call it whatever you want as long as you have your kids sign up.
One of the things that I thought was so cool.
Maybe my grandkids.
Yeah. When we visited with Chad was that it seemed to be an underserved age group that you guys are focusing on, and it's true. You tend to think that young kids don't care about that stuff, or they're not in, but they are. And I was 12 when I became a Christian, so and I was serious, and I wanted to understand, and I was looking, and teachers that were believers in my life were the ones who directed me and helped me understand. So don't discount the youth. And
Yeah.
I love that that's who you're serving.
And it's absolutely imperative that we reach kids.
Yeah.
Because you're right. A lot of people think like, oh, well, right now it's just like teach them how to obey their parents and not
It's more
cause a
than that.
scene and
Obey
Be well behaved.
Teach them how to obey the commandments.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is worthless.
right.
They need to knowing Jesus is different than following the rules.
Yeah.
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 And there's definitely good that comes from, learning how to be obedient. Like,
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yes.
But
But having a relationship is the point.
yeah.
And that's yeah.
I got saved when I was 9. And did I understand everything?
No.
No, absolutely not. Did I understand the full depths of the grace of God? No, I still don't. I never would. Right.
We're still learning that
Yeah.
forever. That's right.
But somebody's worldview is what is going to impact the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And so planting seeds of truth
Yes.
along the way while they're super young that truth will become ingrained into their belief system.
Yeah.
And their belief system is what will direct the rest of their lives.
Yes.
And somebody's belief system or their worldview is like 80 to 90% set in stone by the time they're a teenager.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so if you're trying to reach them with the gospel when they're in their 20s, it's like
Harder.
It's so much harder because the lens that they view their entire life through may already be shifted, and they're viewing things through their false beliefs.
Yes.
And so it's like even if they hear the same words, they don't understand it the same way.
Belief systems are super important, and you're right. That's true. That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
You got anything else? You got anything else you want to say?
anything else you want to add to what you've said, or
I'm good.
okay. Tell them how they can get involved.
He already did.
Yeah,
Oh, did he
I'll
already
tell
do-
him one. I'll
Yeah,
tell
do
him one more time.
Tell him one more time.
Yeah,
So-
I'm old and have a short memory, so
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Absolutely, you are. Yes. That's what he meant to say, but he's too nice. So I'll say it.
Don't want to dig myself into a big hole here.
too late.
Oh, sorry. Take my shovel and go hide.
So in the
Yes.
in the gap dot
inthegap.org.
org. Okay.
And there will be a link on the front page to Operation Impact, our summer program.
Yep.
And then Mission 414 for during the school year, doing after school Bible clubs.
So your church.
If your church is interested, or you know people in the area who might be interested in kind of championing
Yeah.
a sort of that initiative in your area, mission414.net.
You're the guy. All right.
Thank you, Scotland. You did a great
Awesome.
job.
Thank you so much.
Great
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
We have with us now Madison. What's your last
Madison
name?
Ferris.
Ferris
Yes.
with OCPA. Tell us what OCPA stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's OCPA, the Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs. We're a statewide policy think tank. We like to refer to ourselves as a battle tank. So we're on the front lines of a lot of cultural issues, conservative policy issues.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I've seen stuff from OCPA.
Yes. Most recently, we just worked on a lot of judicial reform. So we were behind Oklahoma not retaining the first Supreme Court justice for Oklahoma that's
yeah.
ever happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you do for OCPA?
Yeah, so I'm a communications manager, but I'm also the alumni coordinator for our leadership program called the J. Rufus Fears Fellowship. It's named after one of Oklahoma's greatest scholars, and we love to invite kids to be part of this fellowship to get a lot of constitutional knowledge that we believe that they missed out on in high school and college.
Gee, you think? Maybe.
Yeah. No, we have so many kids that come through and they're like, "Oh, I was never taught this. I never learned this."
Yes.
And
You know what? The whole Tulsa thing, the whole
Oh, the race ride.
the race.
I didn't. We never
heard
learned that in school.
Nothing about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're great. But
We took Oklahoma history, but there was a lot of Oklahoma history that we didn't know.
Yeah, so OCPA recognized that there was a gap in education that we just really need to fill.
Yes.
That a lot of it has to do with conservative principles and policies, whether we want to call them conservative policies or not. It has to do a lot with history. And so we also do a lot of leadership training as well. We hear from amazing speakers, business owners, entrepreneurs, and politicians in Oklahoma. And kids just have a great time. It's a great resume builder, and you can get college credit for it as well.
Nice.
So
Very
we have
nice.
a positive connection with schools in Oklahoma. So.
Right. So, which explains why you're at this particular
Yes.
conference, because it's dealing mostly with young people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our program is open to kids 16 to 35. So for young professionals is kind of our demographic.
Yes.
And the website is fearsfellowship.com. That's just FEARS, fearsfellowship.com. And you can apply there. So,
Wow.
You use the word young professionals.
yes.
Define that for us.
Well, I guess from the fellowship standpoint, we would say anyone 16 to 35 that has a drive to just be out in their community, contributing positively and really wants to build themselves and, be a voice among their people. We really, our mission is to identify, equip, and launch young leaders in Oklahoma.
Yes.
And so that's a lot of what we do. Actually, 3 of our fellows are elected representatives across the state. So
Really?
yes, and we have almost 400 graduates, and 44 of them work in public policy.
Wow.
So yeah.
How long has OCPA been around?
OCPA has been around, I think, for just over 30 years now, but the fellowship's been around for about 5. So
How do you recognize somebody? Do they apply for this, or do you see people that that'd be a good person?
yeah, so sometimes like here we're meeting with people, young people, and sometimes we're like, hey, you've got a lot of drive. I can see you've got that
Yes.
fire in your
Yeah.
eyes. You really need to join our fellowship. Some of them just find the application online or
Right.
through a friend. Our biggest recruitment strategy is actually our alumni recommending their friends to come and be part of it. So that's been our biggest, and our donors as well.
Yeah.
They want their grandchildren to be part of it. They want their friends' grandchildren to be part of it. So that's been a great avenue for us. But we've about run through all of our donors' children, and we've about run through all of
about
our
the donors'
We're
children's
running
children?
out, so we're working on that. They're just about old enough now. I know, and so we're we're running out of friends of our alumni, so we're doing a lot more pushing for recruitment. So here today, I mean, we've
Outreach,
found
yeah.
a lot of people that want to be part of it.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
OCPA has what we would call we have a durable freedom infrastructure, And so our leadership program is part of that. And it's something, a part of our nonprofit that it's our branch to influence the community, influence the culture in Oklahoma. And so we're just happy to be part of that, you know?
Yeah.
What got you interested in doing this?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah.
Well, when I was a student at Oklahoma State University, I was the editor-in-chief of the newspaper, and I wrote a conservative opinion column, which was so good that they fired me.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. If you Google me, you'll find it.
I'm going to now.
And so then after that, OCPA identified a young leader. They came to me and invited me to be part of the program.
How cool
Wow.
is that?
Yes, and so then I worked on Governor Stitt's reelection campaign, and then I worked in his office for a while, and then I joined OCPA full time.
Wow.
So now I get to be part of the program that really launched my career.
Nice. So you've done a lot in a short period of time because you're not terribly old. I
I'm
can tell.
23.
Yeah, that's
So-
right. You're not terribly old.
Yep.
Yeah. What? Go ahead. Looked like you had a question in there.
I'm fascinated by the idea that you got to work with Governor Stitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that's I really, really like him as a governor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a great environment for young people. His office, I mean, probably the youngest office I've worked in. It was great to have that experience at such a young age and work with really professional people. And I'm still close with a lot of them today. I'd consider some of them, mentors to me. And just they have a really tight group up there. So
Nice.
it's a great group of people.
Wow. So what's next? Is OCPA looking to do something, branch into other areas, or I mean, I don't know. That's not that's a vague question.
What's the vision?
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
well,
you. Vision.
Upcoming, our vision is on the 2025 legislative session. So we're looking at that. We're looking at some policies that'll help state regulations and spending. Oklahoma is one of the most overregulated states in America.
Really?
You wouldn't think it, but it
No.
really is. Yeah. And so, it's harder to, just cut hair here than just about any other state in the country.
Wow.
So we want to work to make, entrepreneurship much more accessible to people. And so business more accessible and all kinds
Yeah,
of things. So
yeah.
we're looking at a lot of bills that'll support that, and then continuing our work with the tax credit for education and, making
Yes.
sure that every child gets a solid education in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's something that needs to be worked on. Apparently, the education is not quite up to what it could be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
I think it used to be I think Oklahoma used to have a pretty high standard for education, but I don't.
I think we're 49th is what I've heard. I don't know
Wow.
if that's true or
Yeah.
not, but we're down there.
So
Yep.
what's your background? I mean, you went to OSU and you grew up in Oklahoma.
I'm actually from Kansas.
Oh.
Yeah, so I grew up in Wichita,
Well, we won't hold that
Kansas.
against you.
Thank you. Hey, but I tell people I'm a full-blood Oklahoman. Both of my mom's parents and my dad's parents, all from Oklahoma for generations. But I just happened to grow up in Kansas, but full-blood Okie. I promise.
good.
I promise.
You're good.
No, but grew up there. I was homeschooled. I loved it. And then, I got interested I always loved writing and got into it, worked for a couple newspapers, and then I, went to OSU and all that happened. So most of my experience was in journalism, and I still love writing,
Right.
hence,
Is that what you majored in at OSU?
Well, after they kicked me out, I changed it. I changed it to political science. I wasn't keen on going to class with the people that stabbed me in the back, so I
well,
thought
there
I'd
you
change
go.
my major. But I majored in political science, and I found a love for it. I'm
Yeah.
one of the lucky ones who majored in political science and works in politics. That's pretty rare.
That's
So
pretty-
Yeah.
I love my job, and so I know I'm very lucky and very fortunate.
That's great. Wow.
And I know you've heard this, but if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. You
Yeah.
might have really stressful fun days, but it makes it all worth it. And
That's
I'm very
true.
mission driven, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
working for policy issues and things that affect people
Right.
day to day, really, it's important to me.
And you get to meet a lot of people.
Yes.
Don't you?
Oh, yes.
Other than Governor Stitt and his office. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I've definitely had extensive networking opportunities. And I mean, there's 1,000 different conferences you can go to as a young
Yeah.
professional in politics and all kinds of fun stuff that they have out there.
Does politics make you crazy though sometimes?
Yeah. Sometimes there's
we
times
scream
where
at the TV
Yeah.
a lot.
I didn't used to until I married her.
Yeah, I've been a political junkie, news junkie my whole life. And
There's definitely times where I'm like, you know what? I need to take a break. I can't
Yeah.
think about
Yes.
this anymore. And I wish I could delete social media sometimes, but I work in communications, so
Yes.
it's really hard to manage our Instagram if I don't have it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I definitely love it, but healthy boundaries are important.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
sure. So
Yeah, sometimes you can get saturated.
yeah, thankfully what we do is mostly statewide. And
Yeah.
that's a lot easier to handle than national. I think I'd probably go crazy at this point if I was on national.
Well, and the fact that you're in a position that you can or make a change. It's
Yeah.
not like you're just screaming at the TV.
Yeah, no, we get to see.
We get to vote, and that's about
yes,
it. Yeah.
and we get to see the influence of what we've done.
Right.
Our efforts. So we get to see
Very
these kids
cool.
get to go to school that best fits their needs. We get to see, kids receive scholarships that make it possible for them to achieve heights that they never thought were possible just because of where they came from or the circumstances they were born into. So,
Right.
yeah.
So good. Wow.
Did you get to talk about the leadership program all you wanted to, or was there more you want to add to that?
I mean, I would invite anyone to apply, 16 to 35, and we do make, some exceptions. There's been some older people that take our course as well, and we welcome anyone to come and sit in and get that education. You're never too old to learn something.
Amen.
But no, it's a great opportunity to network with young leaders, even if you're just looking for some friends. Our next cohort is
So-
going to be in Tulsa this fall.
So if you're lonely, you can come to
Oh
the
sure, yeah. No, we have a very tight alumni group. I'm the party planner, so I get to invite everyone all the time.
Not,
so it's a lot
not
of fun.
matchmaking. She didn't say matchmaking.
No, that's not.
Although, you never know.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I think we have a couple people who maybe have met each other through the fellowship, but I mean that's not our leading point. But
No.
it could happen.
But if they come to you and say, I'm looking, you might say, sure, we'll find
Hey,
a place.
I will help you.
You will. You will. Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that you guys are doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as a young woman, do you see your future in politics, or do you see your future at your current position?
That's a good question.
And do you want to say?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a zookeeper,
Well,
and I ended up.
politics.
Yeah, so I tell people it's a different kind of zookeeping.
It certainly
but I
is.
did end up where I wanted to be. But I firmly believe we make our plans and the Lord laughs, and
Yeah.
so I hold all my opportunities with open hands.
Sure.
And so I would love to go to DC at some point. It probably won't. I want to work. This political cycle for Oklahoma.
Yes.
But after that, I'd love to launch. I think every young Politico wants to do their time in D.C. and just see
yeah.
how the city works and
See how the swamp
the
is.
deep history. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited to watch what happens up there over the next couple of years and, and maybe angle for a chance to go. I'd love to work for the president or, somebody, a legislator from Oklahoma or Kansas, I think
Yes.
would be very meaningful.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Well, I imagine you're going to get there. No problem.
hope
You're
so.
very exciting.
well, thank you.
Where you're at.
Yeah.
Can tell you love it.
I do.
Thank you, Madison,
Of
for
course.
your time.
Thank you guys.
This is so
Yes.
much fun.
Yeah,
it's
appreciate
just
it.
fun to. We weren't sure what we were getting into
Yeah.
when we signed up for
Yeah,
this.
we've not ever been to one of these before.
Yeah, but it's a pleasure to get to meet a person like you.
Yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
thank you guys for giving a chance for people to share what's on their mind.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, once again, where do they find you?
So for Fierce Fellowship, you'll go to fiercefellowship.com. And then our main website is ocpathink.org.
Got it. Perfect. Okay,
Thank you.
call people. Call them.
So we are back, and we have with us Daryl Steller.
Stetler.
Stetler, that's right.
Almost like Stetson.
That's
but
correct.
Stetler.
Like the
Offensive
Statlers, but with an E.
end. Nobody remembers them.
No, yes, that's true.
Who?
The Statler
No, I
brothers.
know. I was just kidding.
So what do you do, Daryl?
I'm a pastor in South Oklahoma City, and I develop discipleship materials for small churches.
Nice.
nice.
Like, give me an example.
Yeah, tell us.
Of what the
Sure.
material
So what a few years ago I started developing for my church. I realized I had no clear plan. I was winging it every time somebody got saved, and so it's like I'm making it up as I go every time.
That's not a bad approach, actually.
It's not too bad. The problem is it's hard to multiply.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because other people you get to the end and you're like, well, go do with somebody else what I did with you, and they're like, I haven't been to Bible college. I don't know.
And I don't know what you did for me.
Yes, right. Yeah. So I started developing a more of a dialed-in approach that would let any size church and any disciple maker, whether they've been to Bible college or not, spend 1 to 2 years with a brand new Christian and walk with them for the first couple of years, those crucial first 24
Yes.
months,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
When they
So
ought
that
to be
gives
locked
them-
up or something.
Yeah.
Stop it.
so that they're just grounded,
Yeah.
you know, and so it's not for nothing that the scripture talks about babes in Christ,
Yeah.
and we know that we protect and we take care of and we nurture babies.
Nurture, yeah.
The
And
relationship
and
is important.
So
That's
crucial.
it. Yeah,
so
yeah.
crucial. So that's what I do, and
So, and you said, I heard you write New Start. Is that the name of?
yeah, it's New Start newstartdiscipleship.com, actually.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, if people want to check it out, you can actually
Yeah, write that
download the free New Start Discipleship Journal. It's a 50-day Bible reading plan for new Christians with daily videos that explain what that Bible reading means at a level new Christians can understand.
So when did you create this? How long ago?
That's been about 5 years ago. It was around 2020. We all got locked away. If you
Yes,
recall.
we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, it's those kind of things. So it's been an interesting journey. So and now a lot of pastors across the country have downloaded this. It's just something that they can use. They can download it, use it with somebody for free if they like.
That's nice.
Wow, giving it away.
Yeah.
Well, the first step at least, and
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot more behind it.
You still have a
so-
mortgage.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
We understand that.
I do, and 7 children actually.
Oh,
So yeah.
Goodness.
nice.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
lost my
right.
track. I lost my track. So
all right.
what did you? How long have you been a pastor? And is that
21 years.
21 years. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much life for you.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only church I've ever pastored.
Wow.
And so I've been here 21 years. I went from 0 kids to 7 kids.
Seven's
in
a
there.
good number.
It is a good number,
Uh-huh.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
21 years in the same church.
That's correct.
It must not be Baptist.
Stop it. Oh my gosh.
I'm not, but I won't go into that.
Let me
but-
apologize to all the Baptists out there. We love all of you. Wow. But that's a long way. That's a long time at one church
Yeah.
anyway.
It is, yeah. Yeah,
That's-
it's quite a while.
I guess so. So okay, so South Oklahoma City.
Yep.
I used to live in Moore. So I've probably seen where you're at.
Probably so.
So your 7 kids range in age from
21 down to 8. So, yeah, so I'm blessed and tired.
I'm not going to ask which is more.
Gives a whole new meaning into entering God's rest.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I've got 1 girl and 6 boys. I'm incredibly fortunate.
Yes.
So
yes.
what is the big idea of other than the mentoring? I mean, what's in the material that you provide?
Sure. So I start off with the New Start Discipleship Journal, which kind of does an overview of the Scripture. 25 days in the New Testament with highlights of the Bible.
Yeah.
25 days in the Old Testament kind of give brand new Christians an overview, like here's what this is.
Yeah.
So you can understand the big picture of the story God's telling. And then Jesus says, go make disciples, teaching them to observe everything I've commanded you. So the next step is I go through something called the Obedience Challenge, and I have people, brand new Christian, read through the Gospels in 90 days. There's 89 chapters in the Gospels, and we focus on the 48 commands of Jesus in the New Testament. I went through the New Testament, pulled out everything I could find that was a command. So, well, if I've got to teach them to obey those commands, I better find out
You better
exactly
know what they
what
are,
he
yeah.
said. Yeah, yeah. So I pulled all of that out and started creating okay, so here's what that means to obey that command, and here's how you could do that. And so just kind of walking through that with people, and then I do the baptism challenge, where I spend 21 days getting ready for baptism. What does baptism mean? How can you build your baptism testimony? And then making sure they remember every day to pray for friends and invite them.
Wow.
So
Do you have particular verses that you focus on?
Sure, yeah. Well, for instance, in the baptism challenge, I'll teach some from Romans 6, where it talks about buried with Christ in
Yes.
baptism and raised back up and all of that, and just kind of walking through different aspects of that, what that
it
means,
means,
and
yeah.
Christ's command to be baptized, and why does that matter, and all of that, and so yeah, just trying to teach through and focus on those kinds of things, and then after that, I'll do. I have something called Defending Your Faith. That is also
Why you believe what you believe.
There you go. Yeah. So sometimes you'll have a new Christian. Some people don't necessarily need it right then.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll have somebody their family is really objecting, or their
Yes.
spouse, or their girlfriend, or their friends, or their
Yeah.
coworkers are really pushing back, no, it's not. I don't know how you can know that for sure. And they need to know.
Yeah,
They need to know
yeah.
there's evidence for the Scripture. There's evidence for the resurrection,
Yes.
and good arguments.
How did
Yes.
you come to Christ?
I was raised in a pastor's home, so
So you didn't have a choice.
I've met so many pastors' kids. It's kind of legendary that they go flying off the deep end
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
the PKs are a thing.
Exactly,
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So I actually came to a place where I realized this needed to be my faith,
Yep.
not just my
Yes.
mom and dad's, and I made that decision to follow Christ myself. But it was at a pretty young age, and I'm grateful for that. I was protected from a lot of things.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad for that.
Yeah, yeah.
But God has still changed my life. I wasn't where I should have been. I was.
Who is?
Yeah, I was going to say,
none of us are,
like
right?
everybody else.
Yeah.
And God really Jesus transformed my life. So I'm
He
very
does
grateful for
that.
He does.
that.
He does.
I've noticed that.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Looks like they're getting ready to start.
they are.
Daryl, thank you for stopping by.
It's a privilege, Rick. Thanks very much,
Thank
and Lori as
you.
well.
It's
Yeah.
awesome to talk to you.
Blessings to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Blessings
Thank
to
you.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're back, and we have Kelly. What's your last?
McMullen.
Kelly
Now
McMullen
I can talk.
with Summit Ministries.
Yes.
Correct.
Gosh, so thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Rick. I
We
appreciate it.
We are just now learning about Summit and all these other. This is a different circle than we travel in
Yeah.
with other Christians, so it's good to know what you guys do. So what do you
Yeah.
do?
Well, Summit does a lot. Summit's been
Yeah.
around for over 60 years, and we are located in Manitou Springs, Colorado.
Oh, yes.
And so we
So
have
pretty.
different things. We have curriculum, and we also have student conferences and some training for adults, too. So the student conferences are a 12-day student conference where they come and learn a biblical worldview and apologetics. So we do that at our campus there in Colorado, and we also do it in Georgia. And we have camps coming up from May until August.
Wow.
So students can choose any week they need to over the summer. It's a really neat program because these kids are together hearing from amazing speakers like Sean McDowell or Dr. Jeff Myers, the president of Summit, Kathy Cook. So many great Christian apologists will come and share with them about different worldviews from like postmodernism, Marxism, all these things, and how Christianity relates to those and is a superior worldview and has the answers to that answer reality the best. So
it's highly an intelligent conversations. This is not a watered down, dumbed down thing. This is deep thinking.
it really
for them.
is. There are about 55 hours of classroom time. Wow. So they are learning, they're growing, they're going deep in why they believe what they believe, maybe things that they haven't even talked about at church or, growing up in a Christian home and really thought about critically. And so it does help them to discern that truth. And then there's fun too. So, of course you've got to go to the Garden of the Gods when you're in Colorado
yes,
Springs
yes.
or, climb Pikes Peak or go whitewater
Do
rafting.
they still have the Manitou
They
train thing
do.
that goes
Well,
up the side of the mountain?
It's an incline, but it's not the train anymore. They actually walk up that or hike it, and it's quite the
dear.
hike. So yes, it used to
I
be
liked
a train,
it when it
though.
was a train. You would go up backwards. I remember that a long time
That's
ago.
awesome that you've
Yeah.
been there. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
What do you do for Summit Ministries, Kelly?
Well, great question. I am on the marketing team, and so I am a student enrollment recruiter. So I get to call students and parents who have started applications and help them, just tell them all the wonderful things about Summit. It's easy for me to do because my oldest daughter attended and my son attended twice because he loved it so much. He felt like he was getting so much information the first time.
Yeah.
The second time he had to kind of go back and okay, now I get it because it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But
The fire hydrant?
Yes,
Yeah.
that example. But
Yeah.
the community there is so great too because you've got people from all across the nation who are also like-minded, and they get to have small group times. They get to have porch talks with the speakers and go out.
Oh, yeah.
And
How fun.
yeah.
That is
so
fun.
it's incredible. It's a great program for ages 16 to 22-year-olds.
How do they find out about this?
Yeah, they can go to summit.org,
Okay.
and that's our website, and it's right there at the top. So we are registering right now. Nothing is full yet. We still have an early bird discount until the end of March. So,
Yeah.
Do you recruit young people to come? And
it's typically most 70% of our students come by word of mouth. They
Really?
know somebody that knows somebody, or they've had a friend or a good experience. Sometimes even a parent, or because we've been around for so long. But yes, we recruit at places like today. We're at this event here in Oklahoma, and this apologetics event. So we're giving away a drawing here.
Oh, nice.
do you do many conferences like this throughout?
Yes,
Throughout the
yeah.
United
We
States?
go, there's one big one called Stand to Reason puts on. It's called Reality Apologetics, and they will be in Dallas next month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they will also be, I believe, in Georgia, still coming up in a few months. So, yeah, I would encourage your listeners to check that out because it's a great, it's a conference just like we're at today.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night and a Saturday with great speakers, and yes, we have a presence there too.
Define great speakers.
Oh, yes, that is, yes. At Summit, we're always like, define the terms. Yes, it's very important. So, great meaning these are men and women of character, men and women of God who have really stayed true to biblical truth and values. And as a, obviously as a mom in this culture and this generation with the postmodern views creeping into the church, that's super important. So these are vetted, amazing speakers like we have here today
Yes.
with Brett Kunkel and Alicia Wood.
So the curriculum is for, is it homeschool? Is it for, what is it for exactly?
Who's your
Correct.
target? Who do you target with?
Yeah.
Right. We have curriculum for ages kindergarten through 12th grade. And so a lot of our Christian schools and homeschools use them. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's exciting.
Looks like the other marketing person just walked up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give
Well,
you.
thank you, Kelly.
Yes, my pleasure. It was great talking with you.
You
today.
too. You want to just step right in? We'll just keep running. Thank you, Kelly.
Everything.
So there's nothing left for you.
Yeah.
She covered all of it.
So we'll just sit here and talk about the weather. How's the weather in
love it.
Colorado?
Well, it's definitely colder than it is here, but I think it's windier here than it is in
Oh,
Colorado.
I'm sure it is.
So you are what is your name? I can't see your card.
Oh, my name's Heather.
Heather.
Yes.
So what do you do at Summit?
I'm the senior marketing manager, so I get to cover all the things that Summit does beyond just our student conferences, but
Yeah.
our equipping of parents and church leaders and our curriculum. We have curriculum, Bible curriculum, K through 12.
What does equipping parents mean?
Well, this is beautiful, right? Because we have our 2-week conferences. It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's
Who's
a
a-
long time.
But it's not. Who's with the who's with the
Yeah,
kids the
that's
other
true.
50 weeks?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the parents.
Yes.
Right? And so we need to come alongside of the parents and resource them.
Uh-huh.
So we have for this new year, for this summer, we have a online conference. So typically our online conference is for kids starting at 16. This year, we said, what if we could go down to 13 and let the parents do it with them?
Oh, what
great
a great
idea.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the parents, they shouldn't have to be subject matter experts on abortion and identity and science and economics. Let Summit do that, but you walk alongside your students.
Yeah.
You answer their questions. You find out what are they struggling with while you're walking alongside them. And then beyond that week, you dive deeper. For the next 50 weeks, you get to disciple your own kids.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many parents don't feel equipped or like they're smart enough or whatever? I
Well, none of us do. None of us do.
That's what I mean. So
That's
what
right.
a great thing to do for parents.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of us do.
Yeah.
You said we resource them. Tell us about the resource.
Yes, so we have a parent live stream that is going to be launching on February 25th with Jason Jimenez, and it's going from parenting from panic to peace of mind, right? We all need peace of mind, no matter how old your kids are.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing those 60-minute live streams for free. Anybody can come on. We're going to have one of our faculty members come in and teach for 60 minutes every other month. So that's like a little short thing that we're doing for them. But we are also have this huge archive of Summit Base Camp events, which have been taking place since around 2018. And so we do those twice a year. They're 3 hours where we bring in 3 subject matter experts, our faculty members, to come in and talk about one topic for 3 hours from 3 different angles.
Give us an example of
Okay.
a topic.
Identity breakdown
Okay.
is one that we recently did. And we did one on pro-life with Scott Klusendorf from Pro-Life Institute. We have done... mental health. That's a really big one. We
Wow.
brought in
Oh, I
Kathy
bet.
Cook.
Wow,
Kathy Cook
yeah.
for that one.
Yeah.
Dr. Kathy Cook. We have like 15 but
Yes,
there's one this spring, one in the fall.
Yep.
And this year we're starting at the 60 minutes instead of the 3 hours to see if the parents will be more equipped through that. And then, of course, we have our resource library on summit.org /resources, where we have articles and parent kits. And then we have our streaming platform, Summit Talks. So we have 2 6-video series, small group series. So for churches to go through, for parents to get their co-ops together, go through it. One is Now We Live and one is Flourish. Now We Live is focusing on, okay, you have all this head knowledge. How do you live it out?
Yeah.
And then Flourish is the meta-narrative of Scripture.
It seems to me that the church has supplied a lot of head knowledge, but not a lot of skill on how to live that. So I'm delighted that you guys are focusing on how to live out this head knowledge.
Yeah, how does this work out? How does this work in real life?
Yeah.
Well,
Big
you're the
picture
same
has to go
person.
down to
Yeah.
You're the same person, whether you're a mom and you work and you're a wife and you're a sister and you're an aunt.
Yep.
You're one person. So how do you live and be one person in all of those situations and all those scenarios? You are created by God to be one person and not to live in these different
Cubby holes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if you noticed or not, but the name of our ministry is Oneness.
Yeah.
Oneness.
Based
Yes.
on John 17.
Yeah, from John 17. So I feel like that's the most important thing we can come to understand is that God wants to be one with us as one person.
That's right.
So I love that.
And we live out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That flavors everything we do.
And a biblical
yeah.
worldview is
Yeah.
kind of the foundation of all of that.
Yep.
Yes.
Are you living out what you say and what you have in your head?
Yes.
Is that reflected in the way that
Because
you're
we live
living?
out what we believe.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
You have one on this card that I just found called Technical
Just
and
found.
Pornified.
Yes.
What is that?
Yes. So that
Oh.
was one that we did with Dr. Kathy Cook. And she comes in and she talks
Technological,
about
I'm sorry.
technological.
Yeah.
Yes. So we talk about how technology and porn work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so being so wise in allowing your children to, it's kind of like what we heard in one of our sessions today from the conference, teaching them, okay, how do we use technology smartly?
Yeah.
How do we, not keeping our kids from technology, but how do we enter into technology with wisdom?
And honestly, probably 99% of my counseling is with guys who are addicted or heavily involved in pornography. So
It's
this sort of-
rampant.
it's rampant.
Yes.
I actually
And-
had a woman who was also
Yeah.
involved in that. So it's not just men, it's just mostly men.
So it's not just a problem, it's an addiction.
Right.
And you have to understand the consequences of being addicted to something like this because you can't just say, well, stop it.
Well, you could.
You could, but they won't.
It's not an effective
That's right.
answer.
That's right.
So how long have you been involved with Summit Ministries?
It'll be 8 years at the end of this month, or at the end of this year.
8 years.
8 years.
You must like it.
I love it.
You mean you couldn't tell that already?
I could tell she did.
Oh my
I
goodness.
love
one
it.
of the-
I wish that I would have known about it when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So whenever I heard about it in my 20s, I was like, wait a second. All the questions that I had as a teen, I could have just gone somewhere for 2 weeks instead of kind of deconstructing in college and having the Lord draw me back to Him.
Well, some things are processed.
Yeah.
Maybe that was how it was supposed to happen. Who knows?
right.
You never know.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Heather, for coming over here on
Yeah.
such short
And
notice
Kelly.
and Kelly
Yeah.
and not knowing what you were getting into.
Right? I just sat down and you put a mic in front of my face. It was
We're just
great.
going to let you go.
Love it.
That's the ones we like the best. The ones we'll just talk. So,
Great.
so great. So Summit Ministries,
Summit.org.
Summit.org, just summit.org.
Yes,
Okay, so
summit.org.
find out more, go there.
Yes. Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And start that. James,
Yes.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Tell us who you are.
So, my name's James Swigger. I'm a college student at Langston University.
Langston, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm a graduating senior.
Yeah.
So I'll be graduating in the spring this May, and I
Yeah.
just got accepted into the Doctorate of Physical Therapy program.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'll be starting in the summer. But I was told about this by one of the professors at Langston that I happened to meet during a prison ministry event. And it's just kind of small world thing because there aren't very many Langston professors, and
Yeah.
I met him at a prison ministry event. You know, it was a little
was
bit
meant
unique.
to be.
pretty
Yeah,
unique.
yeah.
So your major, what was your major?
Physical therapy.
Physical therapy?
So
It's going into-
they used to have physical therapy as a major, but no, I was a biology major and I got a chemistry minor as well.
Okay.
And so then I did all the works with that, and then all the prereqs as well for physical therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's way smarter than both of us put together.
Put together.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
So tell us about the prison ministry thing that you were involved in.
Yeah. So I am involved with Bill Glass Prison Ministries. My dad, he's been doing it for well over a decade. I mean, maybe 15 something years, maybe.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just kind of like a family heritage thing. Like
Yeah, yeah.
my great grandpa started the volunteer chaplaincy here in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Really?
So yeah. And so like my grandpa told me stories of being taken into the prison whenever he was really little, and they used to like tile the prison cell floors. They used to let him go in there and tile it, so it'd stay a little bit warmer in the winter and a little bit cooler in the summer and stuff and like that. And so
Wow.
then I got my first opportunity once I turned 18. I was going to go right on in, and then COVID. And I was like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
COVID messed us all up.
Yeah, yeah. And so then my dad's like, okay, well, you still need to go to prison.
Every young man should go
Yeah.
to prison.
You still need to go to prison. So let's figure out the best time that we can take you to prison once they start up again.
How can we get you there?
Yeah. And hopefully still get you out.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's important.
That's what I wanted.
Yes.
And so then I was able to do that, and it's been awesome. I got hooked on that, and so
Wow.
I've been on 3 different prison ministry events. I mean, it's a yearly sort of thing with Bill Glass. Went to Lexington, Granite, and forget what the third one was.
McAllister?
Sayer. Something like
Another
that.
one.
There's another one.
There's
One
another-
of the other ones in
one-
Oklahoma. Yeah.
What do you like about the prison ministry?
Yeah.
So
What attracts you to that?
it's a challenge.
Okay.
It's a challenge to me because I'm less of the super outgoing type to people that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm more of the relational, like build up over time. I like to sort of like, as a lot of pastors say, lead by example. You know, like let the light shine in your daily life. You know, that's like typically like what I try and do because that's my comfort
Well,
zone.
it's lifestyle evangelism.
Yeah, lifestyle evangelism.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a great term for it.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. But yeah, I saw it as a challenge and I saw it as a growing experience and something that'll take me outside the little comfort zone.
Big
and
time.
Make me grow. And so,
Yeah.
and first and foremost, I mean, my dad had always told me that there is no difference between the people that are in prison and the people that are out of prison. The only difference is a bad day.
They got caught.
Yeah, they got caught
good.
or just a bad day or
Yeah,
they just
bad
slipped
day,
up.
yeah.
Something happened and they slipped up.
Yeah.
And so I got to go out there and I got to meet a lot of different guys and talk to them one-on-one and see them, how they are. And they would always typically try and relate to something in your life and tell you about what led them there.
Yeah.
But then it's also like they were broken and at rock bottom and they're
Yeah.
ready to accept something.
Yes.
And so then you can just bring them kind of the solution, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure it is.
it's the solution. And so then you can bring it to them and they're ready to accept it
Yeah.
with an open, like just totally open. Most
Yeah.
of them are.
So the reception is really good.
The reception is really good. Of course, then there's still like the opposite where there's some really hard-headed people.
Right.
Like that might be the possible reason that they're in jail.
Maybe.
And
Could be.
could be, and they will just completely fight you on it, and so then
Yeah.
it'll still challenge your ability to relate the faith with like apologetics, like they talked about in the first beginning part of this conference that we're at here, and so being able to practice that and learn that and see how to apply it and kind of put it in to perspective.
Are you able to keep a relationship up with these men?
They don't want you to.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah, no, you just have your first name. You don't even have your last
Well,
name.
I didn't mean. I just meant to by letter or just to keep being able. Can you still disciple them? I guess after the time.
So they have these Crossroads is a partnership ministry with Bill Glass, and so they'll have like a Crossroads Bible study plan where they can do that, where they have pen pals. But these people are all vetted through the federal government system for the jails, and then the actual like the chaplain will disciple because
So they have somebody to keep.
yes,
Okay.
and then so we give them a list of all the people that made a rededication, a salvation, people we just prayed for.
Right, right.
Even if they were already saved or maybe they weren't saved and we just got the opportunity to pray with them, like Spirit was stirring, we got to have a conversation.
Right.
And so then we get to give that list to the chaplain at the end of the event.
If you get,
And they follow up.
yeah, if you get too close, there are guys that have become predators.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I've done some prison work, but it was after they had gotten out and they were in a halfway house somewhere. And so I would go counsel with these guys, and you have to be careful how much information you give them about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, and they can become dependent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, have you found any of that to be true with?
Well, yeah. I mean, there were definitely some people that tried to go and get a little bit of information. Oh, where you live? Where do you go to
Yeah,
school?
oh, no. Yeah.
That area? What area? Huh? And I'm like, no. I'll tell them my church.
Yeah.
I'm like, I go to North Point Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can check out North Point if you want.
Yeah.
But past that, I'm like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
No, not gonna do it.
I'll tell you about Jesus though. I'll tell you all about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you exactly where he is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly where he is. Yeah.
That's good.
And where
That's
you're going to
good.
go if you don't accept him.
Yeah,
Oh dear. Oh dear.
a little bit of brimstones helps.
Yeah.
Men.
geez.
Such men.
Gosh, I admire the commitment and the courage and the strength of character it takes to be involved in this with these kinds of men who have just really kind of screwed up their lives. And you have the opportunity to bring hope to somebody who feels hopeless.
That it's not completely screwed up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though they think it is.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
not good right now, but that's not the end.
Yes, because
Yeah.
you can ask my family for a little bit there. For a little bit there, everybody was very concerned about me. Like genuinely concerned about me. They said that there were like three options for me: military, I'd become a cop, or I'd be arrested by a cop. And
So Cop is in two of those options.
yes,
I
cop
gotcha.
is in two of those options.
Do you ever watch Cops?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
You want to feel better
So do
about
we.
yourself? When I get depressed and I want to feel better about myself, I watch a couple episodes of Cops.
Oh man, and things are wild.
It's crazy.
And so, and then I try and use that too because things weren't looking great for me.
Yeah.
But then God flipped a switch in my head.
Yes.
Can't give you a specific thing that happened. There's no reason really for it. The only explanation can be God because
Yes.
the family was praying a lot.
You ever watch
Yes.
the show The Chosen?
I have not actually watched that. Everybody's telling me about that.
It's-
We love it. But there's a scene where Mary Magdalene, and spoiler alert, they portray
She meets
her,
Jesus.
Yeah, they portray her as maybe a prostitute.
Well, not really.
But not very. It's not very
Possessed.
open. But they show that she's possessed by demons.
Yeah.
And so Jesus heals her and casts out the demons. And so in one of the episodes, she meets up with a priest that tried to cast the
Rabbi.
demons out, rabbi. And the phrase she used, one day I was like this, the next day I was different, and everything in between was Jesus.
Yes.
Basically.
And
That's a great way to put it.
that is exactly what's happened to me and to you.
Yes.
Is that I was this way, and now I'm this way, and the reason is
It's him.
Jesus.
The thing
Yeah,
that
it
happened
was
in
not
between
me.
was him.
Yeah. No, that's a
Yeah.
great way to put that. I like that saying. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that.
It's in the very first episode of season 1. So
Oh, well,
we've watched
sweet.
them a lot. It's very well done, as opposed to a lot of other, in our opinion, Christian productions just are kind of.
Yeah, that was my
Cheesy.
hesitancy about
Us
watching
too.
it.
We
Yeah.
didn't. I had somebody gave me the DVDs for season 1, and I had them for like a year and a half, and finally I watched one and went.
I don't want to watch
Oh my
another lame
gosh.
Christian program.
It's very. Just watch it and see.
Okay.
It's
then
so
I'll
good,
watch and I'll check
we're
it out, 'cause-
snobs when
Yeah.
it comes to Christian stuff.
Yeah. I think I
Christian
might be too.
production.
But it's super good. The first one is a little slower, and it's the one about Mary Magdalene. But when you get to, trust me, awesome.
Okay, I'll definitely give
I
it a try.
cry, and I'm not a
Yeah.
crier, but I cry.
Sometimes he's watching it on his iPad, and I'm doing something else, and I hear him sniffling like he's watching The Chosen. I look over, and yes, he is.
Man, something about Jesus.
Yeah,
Something about
Something about-
Jesus, and the guy
James.
that portrays him knows him. He's a believer.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
you can tell that it's really good.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'll stop.
Thank you, James, for your
Yes.
time.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me
did
on.
a great job.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Is there
you, I
anything else
appreciate
you wanted to say, or
Man, no.
Okay.
Just kind of, that's me.
Well, let's get your dad over here and
Yeah.
see if he says anything different.
Oh, we'll see about that. Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
maybe you should go into the session.
Maybe I should go into the session. Thank you guys.
Sure,
Thank you,
thank
James.
you. Okay, Dad.
Fact check.
Dad says he's going to fact check. So,
Oh, you said you need to write something? Or no?
yeah, but let's talk first and then we'll do it later.
Yeah.
Since you're
swell.
sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get you in. Okay, Dad.
What's your name?
Pete Swigger.
Pete.
Pete. I don't know why your name sounds familiar to me. Your last name?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, probably similar circles.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. So you guys are here for?
This event, the Unshakeable.
Well, I know that.
Get closer to your mic. So we
Like,
can-
like
there you
for
go.
what
Thank
in
you.
particular?
What brought you here?
Yeah.
What brought me here? I love that my son has stayed engaged in his faith during college.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was invited to go to do this and invited me to go. And so I had other
That's
things I was going to
cool.
do today. But
Yes. It's more important.
yeah, pouring gas on my son,
Yep.
seeking out his faith on his own.
Yep.
Yes.
Especially while in college, where so many people walk away from the church.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, I'll go, son.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
So you're part of the prison ministry thing.
Yeah, I've done that for
Yeah.
about 15 years.
You know that speaks light years about your character. That you would sacrifice your day to be here with your son.
Well,
When your son asks you to do something,
Yep.
that's
yeah.
pretty special.
Yeah, things are important. Some
Yeah.
things are more important.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So what do you do?
I'm a physical therapist. I own a healthcare company.
Oh.
We take care of adults with intellectual disabilities throughout the state. People that were special needs in school, not going to be able to live alone. We make sure
Yeah.
they're taken care of
Wow.
for the rest of their lives.
Nice.
So we do physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, registered dietitian services. About 1,000 clients statewide.
Nice.
But it's wonderful. Yeah. But it was interesting because I did it small time around a regular job. My wife decided to go back to physical therapy assistant school and work with me. So just like you guys work
Ah.
together, I work with my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
And you're still married.
and we're still married. I get that all the time. Yeah, well, I actually worked with people 40 hours a week that I didn't marry. And I thought, that's not what I signed up for. I'd rather work with my wife.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But, you know, the word is a living word. I've been an elder at my church for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I thought I was great, but I realized God kind of smited me and said it was pride.
Smited.
Smite.
You
Yes.
just aged yourself.
With his word. Yes.
So you were
Yes.
smoted.
Yes. Because we read the talents, right?
Yeah.
The ones that doubled it and just did so much with it, and then the one that did nothing with it and
Buried
buried
it.
it.
Yeah.
There you go. And I thought I was one that did so much with what I was given. Here, my wife and I are taking care of 70 people. And it was just us, and there weren't enough providers doing the service out there. But I'm like, but here we are. Look how wonderful we are. And I was reading that word, and he said, no, you're the one that's buried it. You have the ability to find people and let them know about this need. Train them how to do this, and you'll be caring for 700 people instead of 70. And that was just 5 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And we're just around 1,000 clients we're helping statewide. And being obedient is what it's all about. Because I've just sat back and watched God do it. I used to say I was on the sidelines, but now I just feel like I'm in the stands watching the game. He's just taking care of it. He's doing it. Yeah.
So it's all about him.
It's all about him.
I've heard that
And
before.
Obedience is important, but I think in order to be obedient, you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to hear him. And because we can think God is directing us in a way, and you end up with 70 clients. And then when you listen, he says, no, I got much bigger plans for you.
Think versus listen. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So what else?
What else?
What else?
Yeah.
Well, the prison ministry. I think it's come full circle. My grandpa started the volunteer chaplaincy program in the state, and my grandma was getting ready to be the first female volunteer chaplain in the state. Whenever my grandpa had a heart attack while he was serving in McAllister. Yeah, and so that stopped that. But my dad had gone in when he was young with my grandpa, and then I went in. And it's interesting because then James went with me to serve in Granite. And I know that my grandfather had been there, my dad had been there, I had been there, and then my son went with me.
What a
4
moment.
generations going in, did you visit me in prison?
Huh.
Rick?
Yeah.
You've done that, haven't you? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
You haven't gone into prison?
No, I've sent some people.
And some people have kept him out,
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah.
I haven't done it.
My daughter's a cop. She she just stopped being a cop. Works for us full time.
Really?
Yeah. But she hasn't gone in to do it either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes we have different callings.
Oh, that's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Have
So-
you counseled anybody lately? Have you done any podcasts lately, other than just right now?
No, I'm not doing another podcast. No, that's right. Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
And you. Thank
Yeah.
you for doing this wonderful thing.
Yeah.
People need people.
Yep,
Yeah.
we do. We need people. We need to. Some of us. My career before I started this was I was in the arts. I was a landscape painter, and I loved it because I got to be alone. I got to be by myself. So I was a person who isolated, and that's a dangerous place to be when you're by yourself in your own head, thinking about how great you are at what you do, and then when you do a show, you get to be a star in this area, and so God says that's over. He said to me, "That is over. I have something else for you." And I resisted it, and I got
He meant
smited.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was standing next to you when you got.
Yeah, and decided,
Smited.
okay, I'll go to Nineveh.
Yeah.
Start a podcast.
Well, we started off counseling.
Yeah, started
because
off.
that's what we were trained for, licensed counselors.
Oh,
Not
wonderful.
licensed, certified. Sorry.
Certified, yeah.
And then somebody invited us to be on a podcast, and I hated it, and he loved it, and here we are.
I got struck.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It's great.
I love
Yeah,
it.
because
I
we
love
get to
doing
meet
it.
people like you guys, and we get to learn and grow and see other people's, walks of where God's directing them.
And you get
It's
to go
great.
do this together and
Yes, sir.
share a passion. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. We do it out of our house, and we're together 24/7, pretty much. Don't you need to go on a camping trip soon?
Soon.
Yeah.
But we're not alone.
No.
We're not alone because of guys like you and people like us who get to a place like this and get to meet each other.
And we get to see what God is doing in you.
Yep.
Right.
Something that's completely different than what we're doing, but we're all doing the same thing. It's all about Jesus. That's the common.
Right. Whenever
Yeah.
people come together like this, it's just a family reunion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meeting other brothers and sisters.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
is.
Absolutely.
I love it. Wow. Thanks.
Thank you,
Anything
Paige.
else you want to say?
No, I just love this. We need to be doing good things. And just like my son came to this, that's a good thing.
Yes.
I want to support that.
Yep.
And we need to encourage others towards good works.
Good works.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
Thanks for your
you.
time.
Thank you. No, thank you for your time.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's start. Okay. We're ready.
We have a new guy here. What's your name, sir?
My name's Joe Garcia.
Joe Garcia.
You look like you were really ready to talk. So what do you want to talk about?
I'm here to talk to whatever you guys wanted to ask me.
My name is Rick.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is Lori.
And
Hey, Rick,
so
Lori.
tell us why you're here at the conference
Yeah.
today.
So I'm just here
Yeah.
as part of the Fierce Fellowship. So I graduated.
Oh,
I'm an alumni as of 2023.
We talked to,
Yeah.
I forgot her name, over the one who's in charge of the Fierce Fellowship. We talked to her.
Oh,
so we know.
Farmer, Dr. Farmer.
No, Melissa?
Yeah, Melissa. Madison.
Well,
Madison,
Maddie.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maddie,
So,
is that what she goes by?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
goes by Maddie.
Yeah.
so tell us about that since you've been through it,
Yeah.
or you're
Oh.
in it.
Oh, well, I mean, it's been almost 2 years since
Yeah.
I did the program, but it's really a great thing. You get to meet people, Okies from across the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they can be in college, they can be even older. I mean, there was even someone in my class that was like 45 or so.
Really?
Oh,
So
wow. That old,
kinda,
huh?
Jonathan, but he just said how they stretch the age sometimes for
Yes.
those who really want to get in. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
So,
made me in that.
Are
yeah.
you politically active?
To a degree, yes. I don't plan on running for office or anything.
you don't
but,
scream
yeah.
at the TV much?
No, I don't have a TV in my house.
Oh, that's probably really
No.
smart. Or you could just scream at X. You could do that too. So what did you like about it? What about the fellowship was impactful for you?
I think for me, definitely just the connections you meet. You meet like really cool people, and you just kind of grow together over
Ah.
shared values, and just have a good time. Really,
And you're still in touch with some of them?
some of them, yes, definitely.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So-
what do you do for career?
I work for a cybersecurity company based in Seattle. I do support for them.
Wow. Oh,
What IT support? What kind of?
So yeah, just basically my company's product. A lot of big companies use it. So it's like a better question to ask is like, if you look at the S&P 500, which of these companies don't use my company's product?
Oh.
That's a better question. So it's just behind the scenes, and they have
Yeah.
problems with it or have questions. They come to us for it.
Well, talk about your company.
Yeah.
It's called F5. So our main product is called a load balancer, and it's hard to. I don't want to go too deep into it, but
Gotcha.
Just basically, it's just a way to have your application on multiple servers and just pass traffic to it.
Yeah. We're not smart enough to understand the whole thing. It
I don't wanna go
sounds
too deep
really
into it.
smart.
Yeah,
Because I'll go to sleep.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty boring.
So, what have you learned here that's been helpful? What have you learned? What's been impactful for you today?
I would say so from my perspective, I would say I'm not a Christian. I wouldn't identify as that. So it's just I would say I just had a nice talk with someone, just finding out like why are you a Christian?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just no one truly knows if you can prove that God exists. Like we weren't there back in the day, so it's just your faith. This is just a good way to live your life.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
there's
just,
a lot of historical things
There
to
is,
consider
yes.
as well. Yeah. So we're not going to beat you over the head with the Bible either.
Yeah.
So
No.
don't worry about that.
Thanks.
Don't worry about
Because
that.
Yeah.
So
You,
was
to-
it?
you totally have the freedom to not be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But learning and asking questions and being exposed to things, that's really pretty smart. Do you do that about lots of things?
Everything.
Is that just
Yes.
you?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else are you interested in?
So I
In general.
train for a marathon, so I'm on to my 7th one.
Oh, really?
That's probably my biggest thing that takes up most of my time.
Wow. I
Running.
guess-
Yeah.
How's your knees?
They're good. My
Are
knees
they?
are good. Yeah.
Has
really
the,
good.
Has the shoe technology changed? Because I was a distance runner when I was young, but my knees are crazy bad because I think the shoes were not the shoe technology wasn't developed very well when I was doing it. So
Had they invented rubber or anything yet?
yeah,
when
we
you were-
had rubber at
You
that
did?
time.
Okay. Just kidding.
And foam. There was some foam, but shoe technology has changed enough that I think it protects knees more than it used to.
Are you going to do the memorial run?
I did the half last year.
Did you?
Not this year though. But I'm going to be doing the Flying Pig in Cincinnati, and then before that, I got just a couple races locally in Tulsa and the Bentonville half as well.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah,
that's all.
that's all.
So
Yeah.
so how many races do you do in like a 6-month period or a year?
Probably in a year, probably like 6, 7,
Yeah.
something
Wow,
like that.
that's a
Yeah,
lot.
two
You train a
marathons
lot.
usually. Yeah, 1 or 2
Yeah.
a year. Yeah.
What about the Boston one? Isn't that a big one?
Oh yeah, I'm not fast enough yet.
Oh, so you want to win too? You don't just want to run. A lot of people are like, I just want to live
Hopefully.
through it, but you want to.
Hopefully, I can get there someday.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So where'd you go to school?
I went to school at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. That's the Central Coast of California.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're from California?
Yes, born and raised.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you end up in Oklahoma?
Well, I always wanted to try a different way of life, and so I'm also a part of the Tulsa Remote program. So I came here, I took my job with me, and then they paid me some money. It's funded by George Kaiser. They just I was something around like the 2,000th member, give or take, somewhere around there. Now it's grown to like 3,600 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what do you like it here?
I would say I love it here. I actually just bought a house a couple weeks ago.
you?
A couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Here in Edmond or in Oklahoma City?
Tulsa.
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 In Tulsa. Yeah.
You know, we
said.
ran into somebody at a food co-op, and she was from New York City, and she had moved here, and she said, "I just love it here." She said, "I came down here to visit her daughter or
Yeah,
something,"
something, yeah.
and she said everybody was just so nice. She said, "I just stayed," and we're thinking New York City to Oklahoma City.
That's
It's
quite a
kind-
transition.
Yeah, but you what did you like about it?
Tulsa?
Yeah.
I'd say just the people, and
Yeah.
the weather's not as bad as I thought it would be.
It's because you don't
Yeah.
live in Moore,
Yeah.
tornado capital of the world. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen a tornado. Yeah.
Really?
The tornado siren has gone off, I think, like twice or 3 times, and
Yeah.
it wasn't Wednesday at 12 p.m. So.
Yeah,
Well, she
Yeah.
went through the May 3rd tornado.
yeah. Well, yeah,
And
yeah.
then the next one
Yeah.
we went through.
Yeah, he may not have been here at that time,
No,
so
no.
it was a bad one.
I was here, so the OKC Memorial Half, and that morning was the same morning where, what was it? Sulphur, Oklahoma.
Yes.
There was
Oh,
a tornado that
yes.
ripped through the city.
Yes.
And
Yes.
like literally no one talked about it. the entire time I was at that race.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess,
okay.
I guess
Yeah.
we're used to it. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just used to it, right?
Yeah.
Out here.
Yeah. And when I grew up, nobody had a storm cellar, and still a lot of people don't. But we do. After going through the one in 1999, that was a bad one. 99, is that when it was? Yeah, May 3rd, 99. Doesn't matter. Anyway, but we just kind of get used to it here. My daughter lived in Illinois for a while, grew up here, and she was like, she said the storm sirens went off once, and she was freaked out because it didn't have the radar telling you what street it was on, like they do here. You know, it tells you exactly where it is. So anyway, so what else about you would be interesting to talk about?
What else would be interesting to talk about?
Yeah. What are you passionate about besides marathons?
So I also volunteer for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have a little, and so I feel like I'm definitely making an impact on his life
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been matched about 2 years now at this point.
That's
Yeah.
so
And
cool.
how old is he?
He's in 8th grade, so he's 13. Yeah.
So will you stay with him? Just you
I
can
think so.
just as long as you can.
Yeah, I'm not planning to be,
Yeah.
unmatched. with him.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't know if they had how long you could be with a kid, or if you could just continue the relationship.
Yeah, until they're 18.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
and then by that point you age out of the program, but
Right.
obviously you could still maintain contact
What
with
a
them.
cool thing to
Sure.
do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
wow. You've got a lot going on.
I do. Yeah.
I want to make a comment on how courageous it is for a non-believer to come through something like this, where some people
We'll beat you over the head with
will
the
beat you
Bible.
over- There are people who will do that.
Yeah.
And so I admire your courage for coming here.
Well, thank you too for being so welcoming.
Yeah.
Aw,
Yeah.
Well, and just asking questions and listening, and knowing that that's great.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
I'm here to listen.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Unless you got something else, then I guess we'll let you go do your thing.
Yeah.
Nope, that's all I had.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Joe.